You know, there's a kind of movie that you usually only watched with your dad, or your dad was going to watch it without anyone. Not the big ones everybody gathered around for. I'm talking about the movies that were constantly on cable, VHS, that your dad has seen 40 times and would still sit down and watch like it was the first time. Meanwhile, the rest of the family would walk through the room and go, "You're watching that again?" And dad would be like, "Just give it a minute. This is the good part. This is the good part right here." These are the dad movies that were always on. Not necessarily the biggest blockbusters, not always the crowd pleasers, but the movies that dad never got tired of, the ones that played endlessly on cable and VHS, and the ones that felt like they were on every Sunday afternoon for about 25 years straight. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so dad movies, the movies I remember watching with my dad, the movies he would watch endlessly, the same with my great grandfather. You all know these type of movies, not necessarily the big ones. I had some people in the last comment saying, "What about Predator? What about this?" While your dad probably loved those movies, because I love Predator, those are giant movies that everyone loves. These have different angles to them, and we'll talk about it. But let's start off with one of the biggest stars ever, and that is Commando. Look, there are action movies, but then there are dad action movies. Commando is a peak sort of 80s just hell yeah action movie, which I associate with dad movies. And I don't mean dad movies in a bad way, because I love all these movies. But Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a retired Special Forces colonel whose daughter gets kidnapped, played by Alyssa Milano, and then he responds by essentially declaring war on an entire island. The plot is simple. Daughter kidnapped, bad guys made big mistake, Arnold flexes his muscles and fixes big mistake. The movie is pure 80s action comfort food. It's efficient, unapologetic. It doesn't waste time. It's got the great one-liners. It's one of those movies that on family night, everybody might watch it sometimes or once, but your dad would watch it all the time, or if you're like an 80s action junkie like me, and would keep rewatching it. And you got, oh man, Commando's on again, and your dad would just turn at you and be like, "Let off some steam, Bennett." Commando comes in at number 10. Now, number 9 might be one of the hardest core dad movies on this list as far as just that energy. It is Missing in Action 2, The Beginning. Chuck Norris movies lived on cable and VHS, and Missing in Action 2 is exactly the kind of movie that your dad could watch on repeat forever. Now, this one's actually a prequel to Missing in Action 1. So it's not a sequel, it's a prequel. And it follows Chuck Norris's character, who is a POW in Vietnam in this one, trying to escape and rescue his fellow prisoners. It's gritty, it's straightforward, it's built entirely around resilience and payback. It's the kind of movie that felt like it aired every weekend on TNT and TBS. The rest of the family might watch part of it, but your dad, particularly my dad, was going to stick around to the end. He would always be like, "Chuck steps on necks." I mean, that was because Chuck Norris was always breaking people's neck. This is a stoic hero in Chuck Norris, a clear mission, zero nonsense. Missing in Action 2, The Beginning, an ultimate 80s dad action movie. Now, next up on the list is one that I think universally, your dad, your grandfather, your great-grandfather in my case as well, it is The Magnificent Seven. And this is classic dad western afternoon. A group of gunfighters hired to protect a village. Simple premise, timeless execution, based on Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. I actually love the remake of Magnificent Seven as well, with Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt. Very, very good in that one. Ethan Hawke as Goodnight Robichaux. Great job. Westerns were a huge part of dad movie ecosystems. And this one played on TV, particularly TBS. I promise you, it played constantly. And Magnificent Seven has iconic music, memorable characters, a slow burn storytelling that you could relax into on a Sunday. Dads and granddads love that. The rest of the family might drift in and out, but your dad was probably going to be locked in, maybe nap, wake up, get right back into it. The Magnificent Seven had to be here. Now, number 7 is one of my shameless favorites. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite Burt Reynolds movies. It's between it's this and it's Smokey and the Bandit, but I am talking about The Longest Yard, the Burt Reynolds version, not the remake, the original. This movie is an ultimate dad channel stop movie watching time right here. Burt Reynolds plays a former football player, Paul Crewe, thrown in prison, who ends up leading a team of misfits, a motley crew of inmates against the guards in a brutal football game. It's funny. It's rough, though, and violent. It's very 70s, very gritty. It used like wipes and different kinds of stuff that you didn't see a lot in filmmaking. Very, very cool. Some people might sit down for a few minutes. I would have got locked in with this one with my dad no matter what. I was a football player. I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful 4K here by Kino Lorber. Your dad was going to watch the whole thing, and I'd sit there with him on this one, but an ultimate dad movie, some Burt Reynolds, and The Longest Yard. Now, number 6 is one that is a very different kind of energy, and I think this is one that you probably get your family to watch a lot, maybe not as much as Dad. And there's a reason why as Dad gets older, a dad myself getting older, this one hits different. It's National Lampoon's Vacation. This one is just different, all right, because this is the rare dad movie that the family liked watching again and again. But Dad's got something different out of it. Everybody got something different out of this movie. As a kid, you watched it for the comedy and the road trip chaos and going to not, Walt Disney World. And as a dad, though, the movie hits very differently. Clark Griswold trying desperately to keep his family together, to hold on to his kids, keep them from growing up and have the perfect family vacation, rendezvous with his wife, living out fantasies, and everything goes wrong. It is all about dads. That's what this movie is about. So dads related to this movie deeply. Thoroughly enjoyable, love it. Chevy Chase rocks in this, and once it became a cable and TBS staple, it played forever. Now, the TBS staple was going to cut out some of the better Beverly D'Angelo parts and stuff like that dads liked too, but National Lampoon's Vacation, for a different reason, comes in at number 6. Now, at number 5, we have one that I love so much. There's a poster hanging on my wall right there, but I'm a John Carpenter guy, and Escape from New York is the cool dad movie. Kurt Russell is Snake Plissken in a dystopian future where Manhattan has been turned into a prison. The plot's simple. Rescue the president from inside the prison city. But what makes this have a little bit of a dad movie vibe is it's gritty, it's quiet, it's all atmosphere and attitude for big chunks of the movie. This is the kind of movie that dads discovered on cable and then watched every single time it aired, went and got the VHS so they could see it uncut, and then the rest of the family might be confused, but as the kids got older, they dug this one too. Dads were completely invested. I mean, Kurt Russell, what more do you want to say? But you also got Ernest Borgnine, Adrienne Barbeau, and you got John Carpenter behind the wheel. Escape from New York, an incredible pick, comes in at number 5. Now, number 4 is one that I absolutely love. It is my favorite Sam Peckinpah film. It is Convoy. This one has a lot of dad energy to it. If you like a rougher side of Smokey and the Bandit, that's what you get here. Truckers, CB radios, great soundtrack to this that the movie's actually based on. Convoy is a road movie built entirely on 70s trucker culture. At the time, that was popular. It's a fast-moving film. It's literally driving you through like a bat out of hell. It's fun. Chris Christopherson is cool as the other side of the pillow. there. To quote the late great Stuart Scott, it is very much about a journey. You got basically Chris Christopherson squaring off against Dirty Lyle, played by Ernest Borgnine. Go listen to the song Convoy by C.W. McCall. It'll tell you the entire plot of the movie in like 4 minutes. And that's exactly the kind of energy that you want on like a Sunday afternoon. Sit on the couch, tuck in, and watch it, even if nobody else is. We got ourselves a Convoy. Now, you can't do a dad movie list without some Clint Eastwood. How about the good, the bad, and the ugly? Listen, this is dad Western epic. I mean, look, you ain't got to be a dad to like any of these movies. These are just movies I remember my dad and my grandfather and all that stuff watching, and I dig them too. But dads had that thing, particularly my dad. He could watch the same movie 15 times in a row. I've told the story about Beastmaster. He'd watch it 10:35 p.m. on TBS on Friday night, and at 7:35 a.m. he's waking me up because Beastmaster is on. This one's a little bit different. It's longer, it's deliberate, but it is iconic. Dads, grandparents could watch this endlessly. Spaghetti westerns were cable and like TBS particularly staples for years. This one felt like it aired continuously. You might not sit down for the entire thing as a kid, but your dad absolutely would, or your grandfather would, every time. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, you can't keep talking dad films without a little James Bond. And for me, James Bond is Sean Connery. And at the top of the pantheon of James Bond movies is Goldfinger. Bond movies are a huge part of dad movie rotation. Look, they're just cool. I mean, just absolutely cool. Goldfinger may be one of the most replayed, and it might be one of the best, if not the best. It's probably the best Sean Connery Bond, for sure. It's iconic. Sean Connery is at his peak. Iconic villain, classic set pieces. This is the kind of movie that dads or granddads would stop if they were channel surfing and immediately watch, even if they've seen it dozens of times. I've watched this twice since I got the 4K. Listen, he's just cool. You just know that Sean Connery was out there having a good time. Let's just say it like that. And it comes through 007, Sean Connery, James Bond, Goldfinger comes in at number 2. And at number 1, we're going to take a little different turn because this is one of the biggest movies of all time. One of the best movies of all time. Double-digit Oscar nominations, all of that. So it kind of, in a way, sets outside of the parameters of dad movies. But I'm going to explain why Rocky is number 1 on this list. It's one of the absolute greatest movies ever made. It's my favorite movie of all time. But it's also way more serious and slower and more somber than the sequels that most of us watched again and again. When you think of the ones that that the kids watch or that you watched when you were a teenager, you think of Part 3 and Part 4 with Eye of the Tiger, and Part 4 is basically a music video with the Russian. But the original Rocky is about struggle, discipline, perseverance, quiet determination, proving something to yourself and realizing what life is all about. It's not flashy, it's not loud, it's from the school of hard knocks, it's gritty, it's thoughtful. Dads loved it. Listen, everybody loved it. 11 Oscar nominations. You have to love Rocky. Even if the family gravitated more between like number 3 and 4 particularly, dads and really film fans, people who really enjoy cinema, you're going to love Rocky 1 every single time because it meant something. One of the greatest films of all time, Rocky, comes in at number 1. So there you go. Dad movies, it's not meant in a negative way at all because I love all these films. I actually own more than I showed here. I think the only one that I don't own is Mission in Action Part 2. They're not always big crowd pleasers. Sometimes they're the movies that the rest of us just watched once or twice, but certain dads or granddads and stuff out there would just watch it 100 times without getting tired of it. They played on cable constantly. They were on VHS constantly. They're the ones that just sort of became background growing up on TBS. For us here, it was like after Braves games, they were going to show the good and the bad and the ugly, and then Rocky or something. So tell me, I want to know, what movies did your dad or your granddad or even you watch all the time, every single time they were on growing up? Because I want to know. And honestly, a lot of these are still in the background in my house all the time now. That's what I got for you this time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you appreciate what we're doing here and you want to help support a little more, you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description, and you'll get your name and lights on every single video, behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special members only videos, and so much more. My cat is going crazy over there. But until next time, be kind, rewind. Like always, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. Bye now.